recharging batteries. Question: what are the requirements for parking my vehicle on the streets? Answer: privately owned vehicles may be parked on public streets in neighborhoods as long as they are operable and registered. If a vehicle is being repaired, it can only be inoperable for a period of 5 days or less. Question: can I park a semi-tractor/trailer on the street? Answer: except in specifically designated commercial areas, semi-tractors, trailers can only be parked on residential street for a maximum of 8 hours and cannot block driveways, sidewalks, fire hydrants, etc. We hope this is helpful information. Please feel free to give us a call if you have any additional questions or if you have a specific concern for your neighborhood. And I believe the number to call for that question would be 532-7001, which is the non-emergency number for dispatch. Our code enforcement officer and police officers are making contacts to address parking violations in our community. It is always our hope to resolve parking violations through a friendly contact and education on municipal ordinances. If that is not successful, we do issue citations. We reached freezing on Sunday morning. It's a wake-up call to all of us to prepare for winter weather. But winter is not here yet. Please continue to enjoy this beautiful fall weather we are so blessed to have here in the city of Torrington. Thank you. All right, our next item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the October 7th, 25 council meeting as published.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilman Victorin to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the consent agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Deal to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is what we call the public forum. I do have two takers tonight, but we also have people listening, so I always like to explain what this item is on the agenda. This is called public forum. This is for non-agenda items. There's a time limit of 2 minutes, and the speaker must sign up before the meeting. This is a time for the council to listen. No action will be taken. And as I said, I have two partakers in that this evening. And the first one that came in is from Mr. Robert Fisher from AirMed Care Network.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm from the AirMed Care Network. We operate the AirLink helicopter service out of Scottsbluff, and we offer businesses and cities discounted membership for employees to use our services and get discounted rate. I have a folder, information for the council to consider. It doesn't cost the city any money. It's a payroll deduct system, and so it costs the city nothing, and each employee takes it out of their paycheck and gets membership discounted rather than the normal rate. And so I can leave that for the council to look at. And
Yes, sir, you may place it right here and we'll share it.
well, thank you. My card's in there if you need to talk to me. It'd be cool.
All right, thank you, Mr. Fisher. Appreciate it. All right, we have a second person up for public forum, and that's Marie Flanagan. She wants to speak to us on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Welcome, Marie.
Well, good evening. It's been brought to my attention that we have an opening for the Planning and Zoning Commission. And there's been a few different positions been brought up, whether to discontinue one position or to maybe add a person to that commission seat. I did my due diligence. I read through all of the publications about the rules and regs on the commission, because I like to do my research. What I found is that the rules were basically put in 1976. We had a lot of great ideas back then, and our town was flourishing back then as well. It is no longer at all. And I feel as though, and again, this is just my feeling, that reducing the number of commission seats actually is a detriment to our community. Reason being, when you take away the people's right to voice concern, help grow their community, possibly give back in a way that is in a positive light to our community, when you take that away, you're hindering the people of our community. I don't agree with that at all. Our community needs as many voices as possible right now because we need to grow. If we do not grow, we're going to start watching each and every building become vacant, whether they've been there for 100 years or businesses have only been there for 2. It doesn't matter. We need voices. We need people to grow our community. Though I do understand that the Planning Commission does, they're basically like an advisory board, which we follow, or they would follow what you guys set out. Roads, looking at growth. Right now we're landlocked. I understand that. But at the same time, we need to make the changes necessary to grow our community. And hindering that position is not acceptable. As a business owner, and the craziest part is that by and large, our community is run by women. It's really odd to think of that. It is odd to think that women run your downtown. Women are the ones who organize paperwork for all of you. We also like to see growth. We like to provide things for our community. We love it. It's almost like just we need to do it more. And we try, but we're hindered and stifled in so many ways because we are women. And that's not acceptable by any way, shape, or form. Almost like a bullying tactic from our own city. So by relieving that position with the Planning Commission, you would be doing yet one more action, because actions speak way louder than your words. One more action to hinder our community. And as business owners, I've pulled several. We, as a collective, do not want that. Unfortunately, they are terrified to come in front of you because they know that if they say anything, it will hurt their business. And that's also not acceptable. So, I urge you, if you have any thoughts or reservations, this is the time to say, you know what, let's not vote for it right now. Let's do a little more in-depth study. Let's include more people. And just say, no, let's not decide this right now. Because the people of your community matter, and their voices matter. And people who want to give back absolutely should be able to give back and help our community grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we are down into action items, and our first item is a proclamation proclaiming October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we have with us tonight Kate Hutchins, Central Office Coordinator for the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, and Erin Robing here locally. I see her almost daily when I go to DFS. She also works for vocational rehab. So I will begin this by reading the proclamation that's attached to your agenda. And it reads as follows. City of Torrington, recognizing and commemorating the 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Whereas October 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, NDEAM, a month-long observance dedicated to educating the public about disability employment issues and honoring the diverse contributions of American workers with disabilities. And whereas NDEAM originated in 1945 as a week-long event focused on individuals with physical disabilities, later expanding to a full month and evolving to include all types of disabilities, emphasizing the importance of workforce inclusion for everyone, and recognizing that creating workplaces that welcome the talents of individuals with disabilities is essential to building inclusive communities and a robust economy. And whereas various activities and events during this month will highlight the value and skills that individuals with disabilities bring to our workplaces and communities, reinforcing Wyoming's commitment to fostering an inclusive environment that enhances access and equity for all. Therefore, be it resolved that the City of Torrington, Wyoming recognizes and commemorates the 80th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and be it further resolved that the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy and the City of Torrington, Wyoming urge employers, schools, and community organizations to observe October with appropriate programs and activities, advancing the message that people with disabilities add significant value to our workplaces and communities, and be it further resolved that the City of Torrington, Wyoming pledges to continue efforts throughout the year to recruit, hire, retain, and advance individuals with disabilities, pursuing the goals of opportunity, full participation, economic self-sufficiency, and independent living for people with disabilities. Now, therefore, I, Herb Doby, Mayor of Torrington, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as National Disability Employment Awareness Month in Torrington, Wyoming. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and signature as Mayor of the City of Torrington to be affixed this 21st day of October, 2005, Herb Doby, Mayor, attest Lynette Strecker, Clerk Treasurer. And with that, I'm ultimately going to ask the council for a motion to approve my signing of this proclamation, but before I call for a motion, I would invite Aaron Romig and Kate Hutchinson's up. Hutchins. Thank you, ladies.
We appreciate your guys' time. We really don't have a lot extra to contribute, other than what you just read. I can give you a couple of Wyoming statistics if you guys are interested.
Please.
The dollar is always important when it comes to how we spend our money. So for every dollar spent on VR services per participant, we see a return of investment of $13 in taxable income. In our fiscal year 2025, we served 4,076 people. And in 2025, we helped 437 individuals achieve successful competitive integrated employment. And they had an average hourly salary or wage of $15.92. So those are some Wyoming statistics. Anything else? That's everything.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I talked to Erin briefly before you got here, Kate, and she would like a photo with council after this, so I'll ask for a motion and see if I get a motion, a second, and an approval, and then I'm happy to sign it, and then we'll take a picture.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, we are on item number 1, proclamation proclaiming October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Do I have a motion to approve my signing of the proclamation?
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve your signature.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Victon to approve my signing this proclamation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Warren. Any further discussion, gentlemen? All right, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving my signing the proclamation set forth in item 1 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, I will indeed sign the proclamation. And ladies, if you want to come up, we'll allow a photo. But somebody has to direct us.
Come on up here.
Somebody who's more artistic than I, tell us where to go.
Go ahead. I think the mayor should be flanked by the two ladies here. And
But I want you guys in here.
we'll fill in on the ends.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Got several. Perfect,
All
thank
right,
you.
Thank you, Lynette. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys.
Do you want to grab it?
All right, our next item on the agenda is item number 2, Midwest Assistance Program, MAP, Technical Services Presentation. Consider requesting assistance with applications for funding of the new Baylor facility. And we have here with us this evening Mr. Chris Dutcher, Project Manager for MAP. And if you'll come up and just explain a bit, we'd appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me. If I could approach the bench, I would like to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Again, thank you for having me. My name is Chris Dutcher, and I'm with Midwest Assistance Program. We are an organization that has been established since 1979, and our sole focus is helping small rural disadvantaged communities with wastewater, drinking water, and solid waste needs. We are a nonprofit entity that is under the RCAP umbrella that is funded through federal and state grant monies, and we essentially go into communities and we help them with project needs, mostly in the form of helping with assistance of application for grants, loans. We do operator training. We do various types of mapping, infrastructure development, and other forms of procurement for funding for communities. We are no cost to the community as long as you qualify. Some of our demographics for that is if you're under 10,000 in population, which many communities in Wyoming fit that demographic. We don't cost anything to work with. The only cost we have is if we do a mapping project with you, which is totally dependent on the entity that we are working with. So we're here in Wyoming, we're in 9 states, and we would love to work with you if that's something you would need help with.
I appreciate it, Chris, and I'm going to open you up for questions by these
yes.
gentlemen. But I do know that Torrington has worked with MAP before, and I believe Tom Troxel, our wastewater gentleman, was telling me this morning at staff meeting that he was pleased with your program. I think I got indications from Jeff Harkins, our Director of Public Works, that he's pleased with this idea, and I'm very happy that you contacted us. So
Yes.
I appreciate that. And with that, I'd open it up to any questions for Mr. Dutcher that council may have.
Mr. Dutcher, nationally, are there many grants for municipalities to improve their solid waste collection and disposal?
Currently, right now, the main funding source through solid waste is through USDA RD Rural Development. So they have a loan application, which is very, I guess, flexible, if you would call it that. But currently, on a national level, there is none. I know on the state of Wyoming, they are working on a similar faction as SRF with water and wastewater, but that's to be determined. But my sole focus for solid waste would be to procure those by finding grants or loan opportunities or other avenues of funding sources. We do work with the Community Engineering Corps. We work with Cadmus, Corolla, some other agencies that provide free engineering services. So even if there was not funding to procure funds for a project, a lot of those pieces that are required to undertake a project are paid for through our services, through our engineering program.
And it looks like, Chris, you work primarily with the applications and not the actual physical.
Correct. Yeah. We don't go in and do anything physically, manually, I guess, if you want to call it that. We do operator training, education. We do applications, loans. We will occasionally put communities in contact if they are in need of those assistances through maintenance, operations and maintenance, through some resources, but the brunt of our work and the sole focus is procuring that funding piece for communities.
And again, there's no cost to the city for this
And there's no
assistance.
cost to the city, correct?
It's always important
Yes.
to us. And ultimately, I would, before we let Chris go, I will be asking council to approve our requesting assistance through MAP. So that'll ultimately be the motion I call for. Do you gentlemen have any more questions for Mr. Dutcher?
Mr. Mayor, I see Mr. Hawley is out in the audience too. Do you have any questions or things you would like to know? Thank you.
Good eye, though.
Can you explain the Rural Community Assistant Partnership?
Yeah, that is, the Rural Community Assistance Partnership is the national umbrella which we are under. So we are Midwest Assistance Program, so we're in the 9-state region. There's four other entities: Communities Unlimited, SIRCAP, GL CAP. So they're all technical assistance providers that work within the United States, continental United States, and do some of the similar work that we do with drinking water and wastewater.
All right. Any more questions for Mr. Dutcher? Thank you, Mr. Dutcher.
Thank you, Council.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Harkins, do you have anything to add, or?
Just that I think this is a worthwhile program for the city to get involved with. Just based on my own personal experience, trying to get money to fund the numerous projects that we're trying to do is a very time-consuming and laborious effort. And if we could get some help in doing that, it would take a lot of work off my plate. And Lynette's too.
And Lynette's, and all, not just you two, the rest of city staff that's involved in these things. Yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Dutcher.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, do you have any further questions for Mrs. Strecker or Mr. Harkins? All right, on item number 2, I would entertain a motion to approve the City of Torrington requesting assistance from the MAP program as set forth in item 2.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve contracting with MAP for assistance with the Baylor facility.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Deal, item 2, to approve the city requesting assistance from MAP with the Baylor facility. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Victorin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote on item number 2. All those in favor of approving the city requesting assistance from the MAP program for the new Baylor facility signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. That passed, and we will request assistance. Thank you, Mr. Dutcher. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is item 3, ordinance on third reading relating to the planning commissions. Mr. Eddington, would you please read the ordinance by title?
It's an ordinance amended and reenacting Chapter 2.20 of the Torrington Municipal Code 2025 revisions relating to planning commissions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Eddington. And I'd note that after the second reading, I think it was item,
30B.
yes, 2.20030B, where that it was added, 2 or 3 words were added, either the administrator or zoning officer or their designee. So that was what was decided on second reading, so that language has been added.
That was the only addition.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, the allergies. I'm just going to go fairly quickly through the history of this, okay? Because this has been important. This matter came up on June 17th at the council meeting. Councilman Kelly was excused and absent from that meeting, At that time, on first reading, the ordinance was defeated on a 2-2 vote. The issue was brought up also, again, on a work session with council, public work session on September 9th, where, and I thought it was fully discussed, the ordinance, the amendment to the ordinance. And then we had first reading of the ordinance on September 16th, and there was another, I thought, very thorough discussion. And on first reading, it did pass 4-1. And then we had second reading, where again, we had a very thorough discussion of the ordinance and the change. That was on October 7th, and it passed 4-1. And now we're up for third reading tonight on October 21st. So obviously, some of you might be sick of hearing this, but I think it's important. The city is under the authority, as I've said, of the U.S. Constitution, the Wyoming Constitution, and the state laws and statutes, okay? The reason we are able to have a planning commission, which we have and will continue to have, is because the legislature has passed statutes which allow us to have them. And I refer to Title 15, 15-1-507, or excuse me, let me do the first one, sorry. 15-1502, where a commission is authorized, and that law was passed by the Wyoming State Legislature in 1980. And it's discretionary. The city doesn't have to have one, but the city has one and will continue to have one, and this council thinks it's important for the city to have a planning commission. But the statute says each city and town may have a planning commission. The number and terms of the members and any other details relating to the organization and procedure shall be determined by the governing body. So the governing body for the city of Torrington is the mayor and council. It's interesting, I am the executive, but in the executive branch as mayor, but I'm also in the legislative branch because I get to vote, okay? That's pretty unique that I have that. But this is the legislative body that you're looking at. And the Planning Commission is governed by the legislative body. Also, as is fairly common, not fairly common, I think always there in statutes that I've read, when the legislature does create the opportunity for commissions and so on, it generally sets out their general powers because that's how the law works. And if one looks at 15-1-507, it does give general powers of a commission. And again, it's discretionary. And we've had this discussion. I know Mr. Eddington understands this, and I do too, because we're both attorneys. In statutes, may is discretionary, shall is mandatory. That's the big distinction between those two words, may and shall. And when we attorneys read may in a statute, any court's going to interpret that as discretionary. You don't have to do it. And when we read the word shall, you got to do it. You're ordered to do it. So under the general powers of a commission, 15-1-507, the commission has all powers necessary to perform its functions and promote municipal planning and may, Romanet 1, make reports and recommendations relating to the plan and development of the municipality to public officials and agencies, other organizations and citizens. And it may also recommend to the executive or legislative officials programs for public improvement and their financing. And again, the legislative officials, you're looking at them here for the city of Torrington, which is the mayor and the council. So those are the statutes that allow us to even have a planning commission. I think the planning commission, I don't remember exactly when it was passed, but I think it was like 1983. I walked down the hall after last meeting and looked at all the mayors, right? If you count that mayor it was Blaine Roney was the mayor when this was originally passed. And if you count from Blaine Roney through all the other mayors, I'm number 7. So I'm the 7th mayor since this ordinance was passed in 1983. When I look at the number 5, I'm not saying it's magical, but by tradition and practice, 5 is the best number to have for councils and commissions and so on when there's voting. If I look around the SLIB board, and for those who aren't familiar, SLIB, S-L-I-B, is the State Land and Investment Board. And that board is composed of the governor, the Secretary of State, the auditor, the treasurer, and the superintendent of public instruction. And I know the city, we go down there on a reasonably regular basis, and we ask the SLIB board for grants or loans. And we appear before a 5-member body, which is the SLIB board. Mayor and council, whoever set this up originally, I think probably when we first became a town back in 1908, it had a mayor and 4 councilmen. That's a good number, okay? I don't think anybody would want it changed or is seeking to have it changed. When I look at the planning commission for the county, there are 5 members to that, okay? 5's a good number. Commissioners only have 3. People on, running the county commission is only 3. I like 5 because it's just the perfect number to have. Under Wyoming law, in order to have a quorum, you have to have something more than 50-50, okay? 3 persons is a quorum for that, okay? If you get high up there, one of the reasons I don't like 7 is because a quorum is 4, and 4 is an even number, and you're seeking to not have even numbers for voting. You want, here, it's the beauty of this is we have 5 of us, and a quorum is 3, and so a majority vote is 3. Simple, right? That's another benefit to it. I just think 5 is the perfect number. I hear what people say, that if we grow, we're going to have to grow geographically. But I sense in the community there's a lot of fear about annexation. I've had meetings here, I've talked to people, there's a fear out there about it. I think it's unjustified. I have been mayor for 3 years in January, and the only thing annexation that's happened since I've been mayor is we annexed 107 acres of our own property, which is down there by the Baylor and the Wagon Tails and the police firing range and all of those. And I mean, we did have people that came in and were against us annexing our own property. I thought it was the right thing to do, and nobody could really tell me why it wasn't done years ago. No one had an answer. Who knows? Because Mr. Eddington has a very long memory here, as does Ms. Strecker, but they don't remember that, and Dennis Estes has a long memory of what's gone on in this town. So council did vote to annex our own 107 acres, and one of the main reasons that we did that was because we have multi-millions of dollars worth of assets on that property. And before it was annexed, essentially the jurisdiction for that area was with the Goshen County Sheriff, because it's in the county. So now the jurisdiction is in the city, and the police are free to patrol it and to enforce any ordinances or whatever they need to do down there. It's a much smoother thing, and that's the only annexation that's happened that I'm aware of, that I remember, and I have a pretty good memory. I've only been here a little over 2 years, or almost 3, that we've annexed anything. It's a question of authority, too. The legislature has determined, the state came first in Wyoming. I came from I lived in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, where I lived in a county that existed 200 years before the Constitution, okay? That's why they call it the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, because it was a commonwealth before it ever was a state. Well, that's not the case in Wyoming. Wyoming became a state in 1890, and under the Wyoming Constitution, towns and counties are basically creatures of the state legislature and the Constitution. So that's where we get our authority, is through the Wyoming Constitution and through the state legislature, which we have here, as I read, to be able to have a planning commission. So that's where the authority is. The council is very happy to have a planning commission. They do good work. Another thing is they're open. Those are public meetings. Anytime anybody wants to appear before them, they have to go through this process of publishing in the paper and all of those things. It's open to the public. The public's welcome to fill those seats and when the planning commission meets. And if they have input on things, they're certainly there to be able to do that. So that's also the possibility there. So with that, that's my preface, and I'm probably boring some people to tears, but I think it's important after we've been through all that we've been through here. So Mr. Eddington has read the ordinance by title, so we've met that criteria that we have to do. I've opened it up by my comments. And with that, I would call on Mr. Estes, our Buildings and Grounds Superintendent.
Thank you, Mayor. I really have nothing to add, other than the folks that have come in front of you with comments. I have not heard any comments in my office.
Okay,
So the staff would recommend approval.
all right. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for either me or for Mr. Estes? All right. I will entertain a motion on item number 3 to pass on third reading the ordinance relating to planning commissions.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve on third reading, City Ordinance amended 2.20 of the Municipal Code.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Deal on item number 3 to approve this ordinance on third reading relating to planning commissions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Councilman Kelly. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I have a motion and a second on item number 3, ordinance on third reading relating to the Planning Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
That's a 3-2 vote. It's passed. Thank you. Thank you, folks. All right, we are now on item number 4. We're going to have 3 public hearings. So council will now leave regular session and convene for a public hearing, sitting as Board of Adjustment. The first item, which is at the bottom of your agenda sheet, is Daniel and Judy Hill are requesting a variance to allow for an increase of 480 square feet of accessory structure for the addition of a metal carport. So this is now open for public hearing, and I would call on Mr. Estes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council again. Mrs. Hill is here, and originally they did request that 480 square feet of additional square footage, and they were going to add another building here at their lot. In 2019, I believe, the previous owner got an original variance for this metal carport right here. The Hills have purchased this property recently, and they have a larger motorhome and some other recreational equipment they'd like to store on their site. So when we originally talked to them and we put in the application, they were going to add another building here and then add on to this original one and then add another one to get the 480. They have now decided just to add on to this one. I provided you an updated drawing after the Planning Commission meeting, so you should have that in your packet. So basically, all they're doing is requesting 168 square foot of variance, and they're going to add a little more metal carport to fit their motorhome under here, and it's going to be within the fire code distance of 5 feet to the house. So all that is met. They are not getting closer to the property line. In fact, I think they're moving it farther away to the south just a little bit, but that's still to be determined. But they could head straight onto that and just be fine. But right now, they're just asking for 168 foot of variance, and I've had no comments after they've changed their mind, so staff would recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Estes. We are in open public hearing. Are there public comments for this council approving, or sitting as Board of Adjustment for approving? Mrs. Hill? You don't have to come. If you want, you may. Okay, all right. Are there any public comments against the Board of Adjustment, council sitting as Board of Adjustment, approving this variance? Okay, before I close the public hearing, gentlemen, do you have any questions for Mr. Dennis?
Now, on
Yes,
property,
Estes?
there's only one entrance to the back of the yard, right?
That's correct. This is a dead-end alley because of the mini park. The reason that got allowed to be so close to the property line originally was because of that reason. There's going to be nobody in and out of that alley other than our jet rodder. The residents before never had an issue with parking in the alley, hanging over the alley, or had an issue with that. To the best of my knowledge.
Again, that's a dead-end alley, right?
That's a dead-end alley under that tree. To the best of my knowledge, I think the only thing that would ever be in there is maybe a trash truck and our utility vehicles, the jet rotter and the power company. Motor grader, probably.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Estes? All right, on this item, I will go ahead and close the public hearing, and council's been fully advised, and it doesn't appear to have any additional questions, and thank you, Mr. Estes, for the explanation, and thank you, Mrs. Hill, for being here. We appreciate that. So, on the Daniel and Judy Hill request for a variance, I would entertain a motion to approve it.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move to approve the requested variance.
I have a motion from Councilman Victorin to approve the requested variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Warren. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the variance as requested by Daniel and Judy Hill signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that variance is approved. Thank you, Mrs. Hill. All right, we are now on B, under this public hearing section. Benchmark of Torrington, on behalf of B&B Land and Holding LLC, is requesting approval of a preliminary plat for a 1.51 acre, 2-lot subdivision to be known as, quote, Family Dentistry PC subdivision, unquote. And this is now open for public hearing, and I would call on Mr. Estes.
Thank you, Mayor. This property here, just so we get oriented with everybody in the room, is the old Mike Varney property at the top of West C, across from the ATEC building that the college put in there a few years ago. Dr. Marsh wishes to put a brand-new building in this southern portion of this lot. He's proposed on his preliminary plat that is in front of you to divide this lot into two pieces. So it's going to be Lot A and Lot B. He has worked with the city on some utility issues that I think we're working through. I think all that's worked out. It's not finalized. It was very well received at the Planning Commission, and there is a little more discussion needed on this front water line. I think their engineers are going to be in conversation with Mr. Marsh about that. But once that gets going, you'll have that all probably worked out by the time you get that final plat back to you to get approval. So if you approve this plat, it'll go back for a final. That final will come back around for the last approval, and then he would be all done if that gets approved. But again, the Planning Commission really was receptive to this. The city's receptive to it. Mr. Marsh has worked good with us. Staff would recommend approval. The benchmark is here if you have any legal questions on the survey, and Mr. Marsh is here if you'd like to visit with him.
Well, I appreciate you gentlemen being here. I also want to, Mr. Estes, we also took this issue up at a work session we had the other day. I don't remember exact the day it was, but this was thoroughly set forth at that at that work session to council that evening too. And I know Dr. Marsh was there and appreciated his presence at that, and it was well received by council at the work session. So I just want to let everybody know that too. So Mr. Estes is finished, at least for the time being, I think, and we're open for public comments for the family dentistry plat. Does anybody have public comments for it? Or questions for Mr. Taylor or Dr. Marsh? Anybody have public comments against this plat? Don't see any of those. Okay. All right. Again, gentlemen, I appreciate your being here and available for questions, but I think council is impressed with this project, and as I say, we had a work session on this issue, and it was very well received. I hear that it was very well received at the Planning Commission. I think it's a wonderful idea. I appreciate that. Mr. Estes, if this plat, it has to go through first plat, right, and then a final plat. Will this be in the city of Torrington, this property then?
Correct, Mayor. There is a state law, there's a state statute, several ways you can annex. Dr. Marsh has already petitioned to annex, but the easier route to do this, since he's platting, since he's replatting and making a subdivision, state statute allows us, if you approve the final plat, it's contiguous with the city of Torrington. It is therein within the city of Torrington once that is approved, if it's
So-
contiguous.
So under the facts of this matter, it will be within the city of Torrington once that final plat is approved by
Correct.
by the Board of Adjustment sitting here.
Correct.
Okay,
And Dr. Marsh is on board with that.
okay. And I think this method is going to save Dr. Marsh some time and money, because I think he had petitioned to be annexed, but if we do it this way, then there's no need for the petition and the notice and hearing and all that, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's a nice way to come in when you want to come in. But we appreciate your willingness to come into the city, Dr. Marsh. We do. Thank you. Yes, sir. Come ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. And I just wanted it to be known, said my discussions with Dennis and Mr. Estes through this process has been really nothing but easy and has gone very, very well. And I truly, I want it to be known publicly too, how much I appreciate his help and all that he's done for me here. And also with Benchmark, I know that they've done a lot with this as well. And in speaking during your work session and the Planning Commission, things did go over really well. And just said that Dennis has this up as well too, a general depiction of our office that we're planning to build up there. And just for reference, this proposed construction project is, well, it said at 3418 West C Street currently, up there across from the ATEC building. Going to be about 4,500 square foot for our new state-of-the-art dental facility. Including our ability to provide the treatment that we already do, but to make it hopefully an even better, our ability to do so for patients currently in the city and citizens of our community. I think we'll be able to do a lot of good for a lot of people here, being able to provide this. But again, I just wanted to publicly acknowledge Mr. Mayor and the council for their help in this, and Mr. Estes for his help as well, the Planning Commission. And we look forward to being able to be part of the city here and beautify this lot a little bit, get that area cleaned up a little bit, and again, be able to provide a much needed service here for our citizens in the community. So, and I would again entertain any questions that anyone has.
I appreciate your coming, okay? I do. And one thing that I'd like you to talk about is, you talked about this at the work session, that once this building is complete, you are going to have dentists, yourself, and other dentists and employees. So how many people do you think will be employed in that
Correct.
clinic?
So currently, myself and my partner, we as employee, including us, 8 at our office. And this addition is going to allow us to not only expand our services, but expand our ability to see the number of patients and bring in new technology as well. So we currently, as I said, provide employ 8 employees. Our plan is to employ at least 2 more, ideally, with where we're at right now. But with our newer addition and our increased square footage, we could potentially employ 13 to 15 total people. That would be our ultimate goal if we're being able to do what we want to do. It's going to take us a little while to get there, but this building will allow us to reach that point. And really, based on our growth numbers over the last couple years, we should be able to get to that point So our goal is to eventually, we said 13 to 15 jobs in our community. Another thing too that we discussed is the building we're in currently. Dr. Pieper's done a great job, and that was there for 40 years, and will continue to be occupy something there. But it's our hope that this building is going to be there for the next 40 years, well past my time, and being able to give something back to this community. I know I've been very humbled I've grown up here, and the city of Torrington gave me my first job, and been able to hopefully give back to this community that's given me so much. So we're really excited about our opportunity here.
We appreciate that. Gentlemen, I'll open it up for any questions for Dr. Marsh. I got one more if they don't. So I think at the work session, Dr. Marsh, you were talking on that north side that potentially you have some ideas on developing that at some point?
Correct. So many thanks to Kevin and Bob Taylor there at Benchmark, because we were originally going to do all of this at once, and in talking with them and Dennis, we were able to subdivide it now, which is going to make things hopefully cleaner and easier and much more efficient for us and for the city down the road. So my long-term goal is to make that area a medical health plaza, if you will. It's a long-term goal, but to be able to provide, again, healthcare needs for our citizens in our community and enable them to stay here. Our aging populations, they don't have to drive to Cheyenne and Scottsbluff, whether that be, hearing aids and our training across the way at the ATEC and the CTEC with nursing, utilizing Banner Health, their capabilities up there, because that's already kind of somewhat of a centralized hub for secondary education and healthcare, and if we can kind of combine those things for some sort of medical type plaza there in order to provide more of those services to our citizens, I think that would be a really, really cool thing to be able to do for our community.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Marsh.
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. As I mentioned at the city work session, this is the type of economic development in the city that makes a lot of sense. We have an existing business that's wanting to grow and improve. It has a property it wishes to develop. In exchange, so to speak, the city receives an island, historically known as an island, that was in the county, from a willing property owner that wishes to come into the city's corporate limits. There's going to be job growth, property tax revenue increase. There's just winners in this equation. There's no losers. So,
thank you, Councilman Victorin.
you're welcome.
Appreciate those comments,
Yep.
Mr. Victor.
I just have one question for Dennis Estes. Can you put that aerial view back up?
I'll try if I can see that little icon down there. I'm trying. There it is.
Okay, now where is the sewer line going to come through at?
It's going to come right under those trees there. So right in there, I believe. No, actually, I'm sorry. It's
Yep.
right here.
There you go.
It's right there.
So right in between the
That's a dedicated alley right there.
between the townhouses and the
And that
apartment building?
there's apartments in there, yeah.
Isn't that a paved driveway right there?
Yes, it is a paved driveway, but that's a right-of-way right there. That's a dedicated right-of-way. So our trash trucks right now use that every day, or when they do the trash, and they come down through here.
And I don't remember what the estimate cost is going to be to put that sewer line in, do you?
I think an estimate altogether was maybe 100, 120, 110, something like that.
135,000 for the whole thing. I
135.
think the city shares around 70,000.
And then I've been talking with Mr. Harkins and Mr. Weiss as well. I said that, again, in exchange for utilizing that, cleaning up some of the right-of-way issues and the I guess you call them easement issues, you know, that we would be willing to cover roughly a third of that to get that sewer there as well. Again, though, long-term, I think it's very much a mutual benefit in order to, like I said, clean up the alleyway there, make those improvements, have the sewer there available for our use and potential use of both lots down the road, with the one to ours to the north and the VOA there, undeveloped there to the west.
I agree with that. Thank you. Any further questions, Mr. Kelly? All right, any further questions or comments for Dr. Marsh? We appreciate the project, we appreciate your coming, and thank you for the kind words, and we appreciate
Absolutely.
that too.
Appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. I think I asked for public comments 4. We've had public comments 4. I will renew my request. Any public comments against? Seeing none. I will go ahead and close the public hearing on this item on the Family Dentistry PC subdivision. The public hearing is closed, and I would entertain a council vote as sitting as Board of Adjustment to approve the request for a preliminary plat set forth in item B.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make the motion to approve the preliminary plat for the Family Dentistry PC subdivision.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Deal to approve the preliminary plat for the Family Dentistry PC subdivision. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Victorin. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the request for a preliminary plat for the Family Dentistry PC subdivision signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that preliminary plat is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we are on item C, benchmark of Torrington on behalf of the Hatton family. The Hatton Family Trust, dated September 25 of 2014, is requesting approval of a preliminary plat for a 2.03 acre, 5 to 6 lot subdivision to be known as Hatton Subdivision. And we are open for public hearing on this matter, and I would first call on Mr. Estes.
Thank you again, Mayor. What you have in front of you is Mr. Hatton has owned this property and kept it very well for many years. So it's been pretty desirable. A lot of people want it, but since the new sewer and water, or since the new water and street are coming in here, I believe he was in discussions with Mr. Troxel. And I think at that time, I believe that Tom said that you might want to think about water taps in here now that we're coming up the street. So I think they got together. Mr. Hatton hired Benchmark in Torrington again to plat this property and is going to do just exactly that if this gets approved. So right now what you're looking at is that corner, that green corner you just seen with that original building here and another little building beside it. They're going to have 5 lots when it's all said and done. And all the utilities are already in there. There's a sewer line back here. Comes down on the east side of his property below that sand hill and goes out to 30th Avenue. During discussions at the Planning Commission, Mr. Hatton was there. He had one issue with the project, and it's because if I could blow this up, I don't think I can blow this up, but our current storm sewer stops right here on 29th Avenue. So in the plan, I don't believe there was any intention of going further with the pipe. It does drain good, but there's no pipe in the street from 29th to 30th. So he wants to get some discussions going with the city engineer and Mr. Taylor's group, and they're going to sit down this week, I hope, or next week and work through that process. But other than that, Mr. Hatton is happy. He's ready to go. I've had no public comment, and staff would recommend approval.
And Mr. Estes, this was approved also the other night by the Planning Commission.
It went to the Planning Commission, had a good discussion there, and that's when the storm sewer issue came up, and so we just didn't have time to get everybody together. They are planning that. Mr. Taylor's setting that up now, so.
All right, thank you, Mr. Estes. Before we move on from Mr. Estes, gentlemen, do you have any questions for Mr. Estes?
Mr. Estes, is there any plans to develop that street, 29th Avenue?
Not right at the moment. We haven't even discussed that. There were some issues back in the day with this utility easement. Quite a while ago, they put a power line through here, and I think it's that big main one that goes out to the prison. And at that point, I don't think, if I remember right, there wasn't the right amount of easement, so that got all cleared up right there. There is a street platted in here somewhere, right there. But this whole section up here has kind of been mislabeled for years. So it's kind of a struggle. Like this right now, it says 28th Avenue, but the addresses are 29th, and so it's a mess. So that's something we got to work through, but there has been no discussions to improve that street. It really can go nowhere right at the moment. So it would have to go up over a lot of sand that would have to be moved.
And all that property's in the city limits, correct?
I'm sorry?
All that property's in the city limits?
Yes, it's already in city limits. It's already zoned. That's one thing we got to talk about. If he wants to keep it at R4 zoning, it was zoned years ago. R4 is multifamily. I want to make sure Mr. Hatton wants multifamily and not two-family, an R3 like the rest of the town is mostly. We'll have that discussion with him and bring that back. But
That's not part of this evening. That's a
nope, has nothing to
discussion
do
for
with it
down the
tonight.
road.
Yeah,
So as it currently is, that's one lot currently.
I think it's one piece of property, right, Bob?
Bob, do you want to come up so we can hear you on the microphone? And Bob Taylor, the engineer, is coming up here.
Currently, it's part of two subdivisions. The Torrington Heights addition, the southern part falling south of that street, those were originally all 25-foot wide lots. That's not very meaningful or useful. And so we're combining those into 3 lots south of that east-west street and making them approximately 90 feet lots, a nice buildable lot. And then to the north, the very north end was 1 lot. And it's larger, and those will be bigger lots up there, but 2 lots out of that one. It was also subdivided. It was a different subdivision, approved later than the first one there.
I just have a question. Maybe you know, maybe this is just my curiosity. When I was a kid, there was a big sand hill up there, and none of our mothers wanted us playing up there because they thought we'd die from a cave-in, but we did it anyway. I probably still have blow sound in my ears. Was Mr. Hatton the one that got rid of that sand hill?
He is, yes. That was all, and that was a huge project. There were thousands of yards of material that he moved in that area and re-leveled that.
And I just want to say that it's a beautiful area. I mean, you've got the deer signs up. I see deer up there.
That's neat. I'll tell you what, that's the only bad thing about developing this is it'll probably run those deer off. We were just up there yesterday, and there were, I think, 7 or 8. And it's really cool how they hang out up there.
Was the idea to develop that for mobile homes? Is that why there were such small
Originally?
lots?
No, it wasn't. That was pretty common. Main Street, in fact, is 25-foot lots. You go around the county, and now I'm old, but I'm not that old. That was a common practice back in the day in the 20s and 30s. I have no idea. I think that what they may have been thinking was it gave them options. They could sell, I don't think they ever really planned on selling 1 lot, but they could sell 2 or 3 and therefore getting 50, 75, 100. And they thought that was a good option at that time, but honestly, it's not that practical. And what it provides is problems like we're working on right now, putting in water and sewer. How do you plan for providing service to those lots with water and sewer? So that's another reason that doing this now is clean this up so that we can get those served properly and reasonably.
All right, Bob, do you have anything to add, or gentlemen, do you have any questions for Bob?
This area is needed cleaned up, and Dennis has mentioned earlier, the whole area up there it's a mess, and hopefully someday it will get cleaned up, but one little piece at a time, and
This is a good start.
this is a very good start. Yes, yeah.
I have one question for Dennis again. If, you mentioned putting water taps in that, on that line up there,
Yes, sir.
is that a city expense or a developer expense?
That's part of the project, I believe, of this West E project,
East E.
or East E, I'm sorry. Excuse me. But instead of putting taps to all 25-foot lots, you're only putting like 5 taps in now.
That makes sense.
It's a good project. And I know that Jerry isn't here tonight, but just for instance, on the drainage issue, the main problem and concern he has is the intersection itself at the very north end. That is really bad during the wintertime. It gets runoff from east and west, comes off the cemetery pretty heavily, and it doesn't drain out of that intersection very well, and it freezes in the wintertime, and it is just an ice skating.
Is that the main issue with that, is in the wintertime? In summer, it just soaks into something, right?
Correct.
It holds water pretty well, especially since we paved that street at the cemetery. It seems to get down there a little quicker. And
So I thought I saw that there was a storm drain of some type there on the Bethel Baptist Church.
Well, further south, not in the intersection. There is an outlet or some kind of, I saw that myself, and I'm not sure how that, I think it just drains out into the gutter there. And it's a lot higher than the gutter.
Yeah.
It's some plan they had for the facility itself, I believe.
I'll bet we've replaced this fence 10 times. Usually once a winter, somebody runs through it.
Yeah. I think we can get together with Jeff and figure out some help for that. It's time to do it. It needs to happen, and we can come up with a reasonable solution, I believe.
And I appreciate Mr. Harkins and Mr. Taylor agreeing to work on that. So thank you, gentlemen.
And I will tell you, Mark Weiss told me today, he said one of the reasons that never really was looked at, this plan was developed a long time ago and put on the shelf waiting for money. So it was just one of the deals back in the day. They decided not to look at it. So, but they got plenty of time now to look at it. It's not a hurry deal.
Yes, they do. We do. The other problem you have there sometimes is that water, if that gets deep enough in that intersection, it will drain over easily. If you drive up there sometime, take a look at that over on the lot to the north there, west or east of the cemetery. That's a low spot in there. It's a nice little lake in there when it gets deep enough. So try to fix all of that, kind of protect the neighbors and protect the cemetery to a certain extent. That's really low. That southeast corner of the cemetery is also very low.
One comment of levity, Mr. Mayor, that whoever in the future buys those lots needs to have a mowing lesson with Mr. Hatton.
Yeah, they do.
Because he makes that grass look immaculate when he mows it.
He does.
We'll see if he can put it in the covenants. And
Yeah, he'll put it in the, I'll tell you a little story. My brother and Jerry bought that land together, and like an idiot, me, they said, well, we'll let you live up there if you'll take care of that. This was about 20 years ago. I'll tell you what, it's a lot of work to, I helped them put the sprinkler system in, and then I lived there for about 10 years. And you got to appreciate I appreciate what Jerry does. I'll tell you what, it's a heck of a lot of work, and he does a heck of a job. He does a lot better job than I did. So, yeah, looks nice.
All right, gentlemen, any further questions for Mr. Estes or Mr. Taylor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. All right. We had public comments for. Any out there that have public comments against the Hatton Family Trust request for a preliminary plat? Seeing none, we will go ahead and close this public hearing, and I would entertain a motion from council sitting as Board of Adjustment to approve an item C, the Hatton Family Trust request for a preliminary plat.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the preliminary plat set forth in item 4C.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Victrin to approve the preliminary plat for the Hatton subdivision set forth in item 4C. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Item 4C, all those in favor of approving the request for a preliminary plat for the Hatton subdivision signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that request for approval of a preliminary plat for the Hatton subdivision is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. And council will now return to regular session. We are on item number, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We are on item number 5, proposal for 2026 golf season, and I see Mr. Dent, Dave Dent back there, if he would come forward. And you have a couple items, gentlemen, attached to your agenda, which are, before you start, Dave, which are the proposed tournament schedule. That's 2 pages, and then the proposed 2026 golf fee rates. So, all right, thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Should go pretty quick, really. Tournament schedule, see no real changes in the order of those tournaments. The one that you might not see is, because I don't know what Wyoming State Golf Association is going to do with their tournament there. We could potentially get another one of those tournaments, which we would love to have in this community, because they bring in 80, 90 guests to stay in our hotels and shop at our grocery stores and buy our gas. So I'm waiting on that. It's the only change that could potentially happen.
And when, where are you at on your schedule?
Well, it's not on there.
Where would you like to be if you could get that?
It just depends on the tournament we get, because they do several tournaments a year. So the last one we had was August 9th and 10th of last year, which was the Wyoming State Golf Association 4-ball. So it just depends on the tournament and that we get on the date that it would fall on. And I don't know that. I don't know that yet because I don't know their schedule and if we're on it.
And this morning at staff meeting, you're talking to a gentleman named?
Matt Kantner. He's the director of Wyoming State Golf Association.
Okay.
And he's done a great job. So last year we had the Wyoming Amateur, Junior Amateur, and this year we had, we got the Wyoming State Golf Association 4-ball. And in fact, we're probably going to get the Wyoming State Junior Amateur again right before state golf, which will be here next year.
And obviously, if you have a state golf tournament, you get a lot of people from all over the state to
Absolutely
attend.
right. Absolutely right. So no real significant changes on it. Just a couple we might get, we don't know those dates.
All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions for Mr. Dent on the 2026 proposed tournament schedule?
The college is back.
Yes.
Say yes, don't just nod.
Yes.
It's back, right?
Well, they weren't completely gone. It was just a one-day deal, so
Okay.
yes. It's good for our community.
And this is EWC's home course, right?
#1 public golf course in the state by our books.
Okay. And they're really, I mean, they're really developing that EWC golf team program.
It's good. The girls' golf team is really doing well. I think they won their last tournament by 70 strokes. And they didn't play well the first day.
Did or didn't?
Didn't.
And still won by 70 strokes.
I believe that's correct.
Like the Broncos last Sunday, right?
Yeah, that's a shame. Go Chiefs.
All right. I don't have any further questions on the tournament, proposed tournament schedule. Do you, gentlemen? No? Okay.
I might add something to that. That was done, I think, in 2011.
Well,
That doesn't, this drone is perfect for a recruiting tool for EWC, and they do use it. Those trees on the right side are gone, all the way down. They were dying, dead. All they were doing was collecting trash. So we cleaned that up, put a new fence line in, did a lot of improvements on 8, did a lot of improvements on many of those holes that you don't see in this drone. And so we're going to be trying to look for some funding to try to get another drone done so that we can put the new additions to it.
What year was that drone, Dave?
I think this was 2012, if I'm not mistaken. There's quite a few improvements on it, but we got a lot more that are on there. Which you guys would know that back nine if I could get you to play golf. You back to you too, Dennis. You gotta get back to playing golf. So those bridges we put in aren't gonna stop a flood, but that water can get out now, especially with the culvert that we put in next to 17 T-box, which is at the old state highway.
I don't think any of these guys were up.
Pardon me, Dennis?
I don't think any of these guys were up there when back nine flooded those 2 years in a row.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah, that, we didn't have those then. That's one of the reasons they're there. But again, it's not gonna stop a flood. Mother Nature will take, the golf shop is in a floodplain, so it's not gonna stop a flood, but it can get out quick enough. There's 9 bridges that have been put in, so, and it doesn't show all of those.
Mr. Mayor, are you looking for a motion to approve the schedule?
Well,
Or,
Could we
Yeah,
look
we
at
could-
both items as a?
yeah.
you want to wait for both of them?
Yeah.
All right. Will you go through the proposed fee schedule, Mr. Dan?
Sure, Mayor. I visited with Councilman Deal and Councilman Victorin last year and got them involved in this one this year. And I gave them a packet which had it from 2008 to 2025, and it showed you the increases each year. Kind of a trend where we didn't do it every year, but then we broke that trend and increased the fees on our golfers for 7 straight years. And I just think it's a time to give them a break. We've hit them pretty hard in the last 7 years. That's my opinion. I know what it costs to run a golf course, but you know, there's a point in time where you just can't raise your fees every year. And I think we're at that point where we may need to give them a bit of a break.
I know you work hard on this and you think it through. I know you do. So comparatively speaking I know you have a hard time comparing the Torrington Golf Course to any other golf. But comparatively speaking in the area, are we fairly competitive on our fees?
Well, I don't compare it to any 9-hole course because we're not that. But I do compare it to 7, 8 different golf courses. Alliance, Douglas, Kimball, those golf courses. We're in there with them. We're not the highest, we're not the lowest, but we're right in there with them. And I think that's where we need to be. Monument Shadows would be another one. I don't know what they've done this year. I didn't check because the 7 years that I believe that we've hit them, I thought was justifiably enough to just bring it without any of those records. But I would add that in 2027, they should look for an increase.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, do you have any question for Mr. Dent on the proposed 2026 golf fees? And I do want to thank Councilman Victor and Councilman Deal for working with you on that. So gentlemen, I appreciate your work on that, and I know Mr. Dent does too.
Absolutely.
All right. I would entertain a motion on item number 5 to approve 5A, the golf tournament schedule, and 5B, the 2026 golf rates.
I would make the motion to approve the tournament schedule and the golf rates for 2026.
All right, I have a motion on item number 5, Councilman Victorin, to approve the 2026 golf tournament season and the 2026 golf rates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Item 5, all those in favor of approving the 2026 golf tournament schedule and the 2026 golf rates, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the golf schedule and the golf rates for 2026 are approved. Thank you, Mr. Dent.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
All right, we are on item number 6, approval of the bills from October 8, 25 to October 21, 25. And I would call on Lynette Strecker, our clerk treasurer.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Attached to your agenda and handed out tonight are a list of bills for your consideration tonight. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have at this time.
On the first page, Computer Shared Trust Company. Remind me what that was for.
So we have an electric bond in our electric fund, which these are the payments for those, and they're annual payments. Originally, this money was used to extend the electricity to the prison and build the substation.
Mrs. Strecker, I'm looking at the first set on page 4, Medical Air Services Association. Those payments, the city of Torrington has med-air services benefits for the employees, right?
Yeah, we had contracted with MASA several years ago. And it's similar to what was presented tonight, I believe. I do believe it's just a little bit cheaper than the proposal there.
Okay.
And the city does pay for that for the employees.
All right, and part of the reason I asked you that, because I knew the answer to the question, but I'm just telling folks out there, this air medical service is critical
You need it,
to
you need
have.
it, definitely.
If you, this day and age, you live out in this area, they won't ground ambulance you if you're very serious, because the quicker they get you to a trauma center, the better they can do for you. And they will just drop it and send the helicopter or the plane. And if you don't have this, and you don't, it used to be precious few healthcare coverage policies had this. And this is an excellent service, and I'm happy
It's
we do
very
have
expensive, too.
have it for our employees.
Yes.
Expensive to pay it on out of your pocket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the charge for the flight, and, yeah, it's expensive. You want insurance.
And I'll just give them a pitch, and I don't, not this particular company or this particular company, but as an attorney, I've worked, well, personally, I had worked with them. They pay everything, 100%, and I've worked in estates where it was an issue, and you call them and they're happy to pay. So it's just a wonderful thing, and I would suggest if you don't have it out there, you should look into getting it.
Totally agree.
If there are no more questions about the bills, I'd make a motion to pay them as presented.
All right, we are on item 6, approval of the bills, and I have a motion from Councilman Kelly to approve the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Warren. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Item 6, all those in favor of the approval of the bills as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, those bills in item 6 are approved. Thank you, Mrs. Strecker. We are now on public comment, item number 7, and I know Fire Chief Correa, he did send me a report, and I know he's out of town at a training, and Dennis Estes indicated to me that he also talked to Luis Correa, and can you give us a report on the fire department?
Yeah, Mayor, Chief Career asked me just to step in for him tonight while he's out of town, but he said they haven't been too busy on fire calls. They did have a couple false alarms, and they did have one structure fire that was out when they got there, but it could have got really bad. That individual had some damage to a kitchen, so they're getting that taken care of, and luckily nobody was hurt. I would like to push a little bit. It is Fire Prevention Week, so please check your smoke detectors. If you don't know how to do that, please call the City Hall, and they'll get a hold of me, and we'll get a hold of somebody to help you out with that. Next weekend at the trunk or treat, the church, Presbyterian Church always gave out 9-volt batteries, and the fire department gave out smoke detectors. So please get some of those. The fire department's going to do it all this year. So if you need any help with that, if you need any assistance with other smoke detectors and where to put them and what kind, please call me. And the other deal is people aren't aware that if you're hearing impaired or you have some disability where you can't see or hear the smoke detector, there are options out there. There's bed shakers, there's pillow shakers. There's things that you can install in your home to help you with those in case you have an event happen, especially when you're in bed and a little maybe disabled and have a hard time getting out. So they're more than welcome to call City Hall. The girls up front know how to get a hold of me. I think everybody in town's got my cell phone number. So just give me a call. We're willing to help. We'll get somebody over there to help you.
I appreciate that, and will you talk about those little fire suppression blankets?
Oh, yeah. So this individual, I've been seeing these fire blankets, and you've seen them on the internet, and we've seen them around the fire service for a little bit. They're just a blanket. I think they're fiberglass. They're in a flat packet. They're maybe, I don't know, maybe the size of a 8x11 piece of paper, but they're in a little red pouch, and you can hang them right in your kitchens or in your barbecues or somewhere around there. That would have saved a lot of problems right here instead of a messy smoke detector. So look into those fire blankets. If you have any questions, again, please call me. We can direct you to some of that and give you some information on that. Make your own decision.
And the way we talked about that this morning, that's perfect for a kitchen, for like a grease fire. If you walk away and leave
Barbecues.
the grease unattended or barbecues, you just throw that thing on there and it takes care of it.
Right. There's a lot of options out there, and we're willing to help. So.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Estes filling in for the fire chief? Thank you, Mr. Estes. Mr. Harkins, can you give us an update on a couple of things? First, the East D project, and then secondly, the wastewater treatment facility?
Sure. Regarding East D, the paving was recently completed between 20th and 21st. That should be opened up, I would think, next week. So now you've got all the way from Highway 26 all the way up to 21st Avenue. The water line is complete to just north of 23rd. The storm sewer is complete to 22nd Avenue. Next week, they will start pouring the curb gutter and sidewalk between 21st and 22nd. The project is, they're planning to go all the way to 24th before they shut down for the winter. It'll all the water line, sewer line, everything will be all buttoned up at that point in time. There won't be any, gravel roads or anything. It'll all be, paved at that point for the winter, and they'll continue back up when spring comes around. And then they'll only have to go from, I think, 24th to 30th, so shouldn't be that much disruptive next year. But, yeah, they've been making great progress.
And that's what I've observed, and I appreciate that contractor doing that. I think it's great progress, too. I mean, it was, especially when they got it cleared up down by Maverick, and didn't have so much confusion getting the Maverick.
Yeah,
So,
they've been doing a good job.
and it sure looks good, the part that's done.
Yep. The wastewater treatment plant, we've been making progress out there too. Right now, Jeff Carl's staff is working on tying the rebar for the ceiling to the headworks building. It's actually a ceiling floor combination. There'll be a masonry structure that goes on top of that, but it's also the ceiling for the headworks that's already been poured. They have completed the piping between the headworks and the bypass lift station. They are currently, they're waiting, like everybody else is waiting, for product. It's a waterproofing material that they're going to put on the outside of the headworks building. As soon as they get that applied, then they'll come back and backfill that and get that up to, grade. And then I think at that point, they'll be shutting off the dewatering pumps and pulling out that system so that they can now get going on the, there's a pre-manufactured garage that is going to be put in. And they've got some more concrete work to do as far as driveways and stuff back out to the street. But, yeah, things are finally progressing out there.
And how many pumps are still down in that hole?
There's running 250 horsepower pumps right now. They had 5, 3 of them were 30 horsepower pumps. They haven't operated those pretty much at all this whole summer period. They haven't had to, so.
Well, it's nice to hear good things about that project.
Yeah, it is.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Mr. Harkins on either point or any other point?
I have a question about the industrial park transformer. Did we get any upgrade there of any kind?
Dana has been in contact, and I don't know the company name, excuse me. Electrotest. They're going down to
Kearney.
Grand Island.
Grand Island. They were supposed to be there, I think, today to test a transformer that Grand Island is no longer using. They're upgrading their system to a higher kilowatt, so they need higher kilowatt transformers. These transformers that they had in place are used, but they're not defective that we know of. So Dana's having them tested. If the test comes back positive and it's a good unit, it's, I think he said something like 30-some thousand, 37,000 instead of 500,000 for a new one. So we could have it'll be a temporary solution, but it'll work in the interim. I've been talking to Dana that he needs to get with me, and we need to get a capital plan in place to do kind of like what the water department does, is they, put their pumps and stuff on a schedule so that they're replaced, so that we don't run into an emergency type situation and then have to scramble to try to find something. So we'll be working on that with probably the next month or so. Hopefully before budget gets started, we'll have something in place.
So given the situation, that was a good explanation, and it looks as good as it could look right now. And we don't know, they were literally going to be testing it today, according to Dana, and don't know what the results were. He was fairly optimistic that it was going to be good, because when they took it offline down there, it was fully functional, so they weren't expecting to find any problems in it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's all that old. I think it was, 5 years old?
It's a 2012.
2012? So, okay. 13 years old.
All right.
One more question, Mr. Mayor.
ahead.
Is it too early, Lynette, to ask about the bill pay upgrade and how that's been going?
It's been going fairly well. We're no longer taking payments from PSN as of October 15th. We have had a few double payments. People have been pretty understanding. It's a different system, so it's new to them. And so the staff is doing a wonderful job of answering questions and making sure that the customers feel like they're getting the help they need. But we're getting there. So, do you have any comments, Bobby? Yeah.
No, I really think that they are doing a good job, especially with the elderly customers.
Yeah.
Change is hard for people to adjust to, but so far is pretty good.
Yeah.
And once it's in place and people get it, it'll be a lot smoother than before.
And next month it'll be great.
All right. Any other questions, gentlemen?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. I forgot to mention last time, month of October, I always wear my pink ribbon, reminder that it is Cancer Awareness Month.
Well, I appreciate you doing that, and I think we still have the pink flags up on Main Street, don't we? So they go up during the month of October. So, appreciate that. Thank you, Councilman Deal. All right, do we have any other public comment? Gentlemen? All right, well, I appreciate everybody's input, and thank you for your time. We have completed this evening's agenda, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks.